Welcome to Bare Minds.
Épisode 2.
So why don't we talk about the beginning ideas? You started with smart billboards, then that evolved into advocate programming, to having influencers, advocating marketers to the right audience, and then now you have a different idea. So walk us through this. You've changed so many times, and it's natural for like a young startup, but
this is just because of the fact that the marketing space is very crowded right now. So we started with the out-of-home advertising. So with the billboards, we wanted to revolutionize the billboards, but it was so hard facing competition with big players. So we decided to move to the digital advertising. And in that space, the big trend right now is influencer and advocate marketing. So we decided first to try to do a little bit of influencer marketing, but even that is very crowded and it's hard for a startup to start.
Could you explain what influencer marketing is?
Yeah, of course. So right now in digital marketing, the big trend is finding people to spread the message for you as a company. Because right now with Google or Facebook, it is easy to show your product to any customer at any time. But all the company use it, and now it's not very trusted by the customer. So the big idea with advocate or influencer marketing is to spread your message as a marketer, but going from somebody else. So like you can ask a celebrity to tell something about the brand, or you can even ask your own customer to say something about your brand. And with that, there's more authenticity about the message you give to your customer. So, and the difference between influencer and advocate marketing, and there is a slight difference between those two type of marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Because first, with influencer marketing, you pay somebody who has a big audience. So it can be a celebrity, or it can just be a blogger who is who have a big influence in a specific topic. So you pay somebody who has an audience that you want to reach to say something good about your company. And advocate marketing is different because you want your advocate. So the advocate can be your employee or your customer. You don't necessarily pay them, but you ask your customer, because they like your product, if they can spread the word for you. And that's the most powerful way to share to communicate as a marketer.
So is it something like with your Beats headphones? I know that Dr. Dre is a fantastic producer.
We can take that example with that headphones, because if I want to do advocate or influencer marketing, I will ask somebody like Dr. Dre to go and say, okay man, this is posh, this headphone is the best. Dr. Dre, I can pay Dr. Dre to say that. But advocate marketing will be, I ask you to come and tell me, to come and say your friend, go and tell your friend that you like the beat, and because you use it and you say, that's the best headphone you have ever used in your life, I just ask you to go and tell your friends. So there's a difference, because you don't have the same audience than Dr. Dre, but it's more powerful what you say to your friend, because your friend they have trust in you, and when you give a referral to them, they are more likely to do that, to take it into account. So that's a little bit the difference between influencer and advocate marketing. And you don't have a big audience, but you have the power of the authenticity. And with influencer marketing, they have a big audience, and sometimes they don't have that authenticity. And so we first tried to do influencer marketing, but even that space is very crowded right now. And
which companies are doing this right now?
There's a lot of startups actually. Yeah. So basically, if you want to sell your product, you have if I take the headphones for example, you have topic like music, headphones, electronics. With that 3 topics you can ask a company, give me the best blogger on Instagram or on Twitter who are the most influential on those topics, and I want to target millennials around maybe 20 to 30 years old who are only men who love music. You give all the criteria, and they are able to tell you, you have to target maybe as a celebrity, you have to target Jason Derulo or J. Cole. if you target J. Cole, yeah, people will love your product. They are able to give you that and find you the best potential bloggers or YouTubers or people on Instagram to share your message. And so that space is very crowded, and people are doing a good job. So we tried to do something different, but we really didn't find the market fit in that area. So we quickly realized that okay, influencer marketing is great right now, but as you can see, there are tons of people claiming to become influencer right now. So anybody who now wants to get money, monetize his audience or his or she audience, and right now it's very I think the authenticity is going out in the influencer marketing because everybody, all the people on the internet know that now everybody get paid to give referral. Mm-hmm. So people don't even trust YouTubers as they used to trust YouTubers 2 years ago. And you can see the number of people, of YouTubers, for example, has exploded during the last 2 years. So we believe that is going to, the authenticity there, because the authenticity is going away, it's not going to be as powerful as it is now in the future. So quickly, I've decided to focus on using your customer to spread your word, because that has always been the most powerful way to do marketing. And you can ask any marketer, they will tell you, okay, the first thing I need to do is word of mouth. But the problem is that word of mouth, nobody has found the solution to do word of mouth efficiently right now. Nobody is able to tell you, okay, I've done the best word of mouth. People want to have a good image with their customer, but they try. A lot of people have tried a lot of things. So that's why, and when we came to that space, we realized that, okay, if you ask any marketer, you'll be, okay, I want to do that, but I don't know how to do that. Mm-hmm. And the first pain point for them is to be, okay, is to be able to tell you, okay, if I have 1,000 customers, I want to know, okay, that those 10 people are the one who can spread the word for me, who can say good things about me. They are not able to tell you that. They can only tell you that when they know that, okay, those 10 people have already said good things about me, but that's true, it's good, but if they can find those 10 people before they even say good things about them, maybe they can make the process of saying good things about them quicker. And that's what companies want right now. And we found that it's the first problem to resolve with word of mouth marketing, to be able to predict what drives a customer to become an advocate and what's the likelihood of each customer to become advocates. So our goal right now is to be able to come and to have an access to the customer of a company and be able to tell them, okay, if you do this action to this customer, he will have maybe X% to become one advocate, to say good things about the company. So that's our goal right now, and we are using machine learning to be able to do that type of prediction.
I'm glad you ended on machine learning.
Yeah.
So let's take a step back and talk more about your background as a data scientist.
Yes.
You've been doing data science for a long time now.
Yeah, so for the last 4 years, my major actually back in France was data science. Mm-hmm. So I've done a lot of software engineering and mathematics, applied math. And so in data science I have quite a lot of experience. And actually when we decided to go to the space of advocate marketing, it was a little bit familiar with me because I've done a lot of work in churn prediction. So basically churn is to predict the likelihood of a customer to go, one of your customers to stop being a customer. Okay. So during the last internship I've done, I was trying to predict the likelihood of to predict if a customer is likely to stop being a customer. And it's kind of the same idea, because now I don't want to predict if the customer will stop being a customer, but if that customer will be likely to promote your company, so will become your best customer. So it's kind of the same idea, and that's why I was happy to come to that space, and because I will be able to use stuff I was using in the past.
When you were first starting this, did you expect something different from what you ended up experiencing?
I didn't expect to change idea so many times. And actually, I knew that the marketing space was crowded, but I didn't know that it was so competitive. And I haven't found it. I've decided to do marketing, but I didn't know that the landscape was so competitive. And but actually, it's kind of fun because if you succeed in that type of market, for the next time, for your next for my next entrepreneur experience in entrepreneurship, I think it's gonna be easier because I don't know if there's a market that is more competitive than marketing. Actually, it's kind of fun, but it's competitive. But when you look at it, there's so many things that needs to be done actually, and in particular have a better use of artificial intelligence. So. I think there are a lot of possibilities of things that need to be done in marketing, but it's very competitive.
Yeah, I mean that's what shows you that it's worthwhile, right? That there's competition, other people are trying to do it.
Yeah.
And you were talking about better uses of artificial intelligence. We were talking about something different last time, where you can take a picture of somebody's clothes and you'll be able to recognize exactly what brand and what model this piece of clothing is.
That's the type of idea that you have when you are a student. So I told you that I get that idea when after a class in discipline of artificial intelligence or image recognition. So after that class, I realized that okay, now it's possible to do a very good image recognition using the power of artificial intelligence right now. And so I got that idea just because I was in need. I was in the street and I wanted that shoes of a guy. I was like, okay, if I could recognize it, that would be very great. But with that idea, the good things was the fact, for me actually, was the fact that, okay, I was able to, it was about building a product that is very cool. The product was very sexy.
This is very useful too.
It's useful and very sexy, and what is good is like it can be applied in very different market. You can solve different problems with that type of image recognition. If you are able to recognize instances of different things. So if you can differentiate maybe an iPhone and an iPhone 6 and the Samsung S6 is very awesome. It means that you have a lot of artificial intelligence power. You can recognize a lot of different things. And so that was very cool for me because I thought this idea was really good. But in that area, Google is very good in that type of area. If you see the research done around Google Image, you will realize that okay, they have done a lot of things here. And recently, 6 months ago, they have bought a company in France who is doing exactly the same thing, instance recognition using image. And that type of technology are very cool, but it is really hard to be able to build that type of product because it requires a lot of tech, you have to master the state of the art of machine learning to be able to do that. And you have the competition, you have to compete with huge company like Google. So I just decided to not do that because of the competition first, and also because for the program I'm doing in Berkeley is not really related to machine learning in particular. So it will have been difficult for me to both want to do a product that is only based on his tech. And be able to beat Google during those 4 months. So I decided to do something else.
You don't always have to beat Google, right?
Yeah. No, but like when you want to, I mean, the good way to start building a startup is to have the ambition to be the top.
Right.
So if you are in a market where the big competition, the biggest competitor is Google, you have to want to beat Google in that area actually. So that's what I wanted to do when I decided to do that project. But I realized that it would be very difficult for me to beat Google in that area actually. They have a great advance compared to me that have been working on that. There are a lot of other companies or even startups that have been working on that for the last 3 or 4 years. So to start right now and be able to have the same type of position in them on the same, because we are doing the same product. So yeah, it will be very difficult to beat them.
Well, I mean, let's talk about that idea a little bit more, though, because
Okay.
I mean, a lot of people have actually like expressed some sort of interest in something like that. I was like watching a movie the other day, and my friend was like, she really wanted this coat that appeared in the movie. We were watching, I think it was Focus. Have you seen with Will Smith and Margot Robbie?
Nah.
It's like about like talking. I don't. There's a lot of lavish lifestyle there.
Yeah.
There's this beautiful coat, and then she said, "Oh, I want this, but how do I? Like, where do I even begin trying to find the model of this coat?"
Yeah, there are many projects like that actually. So if you Google it, you'll find that there are.
But no one's. We haven't heard of it. I think that's the main deal.
Okay.
Google might have a lot of this technology, but they're a huge company and they have a lot of things that they could do.
Yes.
The biggest thing for them is the stuff that they should not be doing. Like that's the hardest thing for them to be deciding. And I think maybe this isn't so high up on their list of priorities because I haven't heard of a product that they rolled out specifically for.
That's one of the priorities because that's the task of the vision they have with Google Image. Actually, the one Google Image should be something where you upload any pictures and they are able to recognize to give you details about that pictures, and even give it. Right now, they are able to give a description of the picture. So if you take a picture of us right now, they will be somebody being interviewed during that's the goal. That's the vision of Google Image for them. They want it to be able to be the best image descriptor of the world, and they are working on that, and they will be able to succeed. And I think for the moment they have the best technology, they have the best mind, the best brains in that area. In image recognition, they have the best brain. And now what you said is very interesting because when Google have that power with your tools like Google Image, for example, imagine you have Google Image that is able to describe the best, that is able to describe any image. With that, now there can be other startup that can just use Google Image for that point to build good, amazing products. But that's not what I wanted. I wanted to be the one to build the technology, and that's a little bit different because I want to do entrepreneurship and not just to build a business, but I also want to build my baby, my technology that is going to be my baby. So it's a little bit different from, but there are a lot of entrepreneurs that really want to build a business, but for me it's more about the technology. I'm more excited about the technology that I'm going to build.
So what do you think then is like the most exciting piece of technology that could be changing the world in the next 10 years?
In the next 10 years?
Maybe a bit more specific than like artificial intelligence.
For marketing, it's going to be advocate. Yeah, definitely, because the vision we have is to be able to modelize the customer journey of the journey of any customer for any company. So basically, instead of having just information about the customer, how you are going to modelize it is going to be streamlined all the events, all the interaction you have with the company in question. So if you take for example Apple, you will be like on Monday you went to the Apple store and you didn't buy anything, you just did and it tell you everything you have done when you went to that Apple store. Tuesday you went to the website of Apple and you look at details about this product, because we are able to track all the customer, and so with that streamline of all the event, all the touch point you have with the company, there's a lot of information about you as a customer. is this something that the brand can do more to make you more for the customer satisfaction? Is it something that the brand can predict about you? So what has the brand to do if, for example, you have looked twice at the new iPhone 7? What can the brand do to make you to make sure that you will buy it? So all the type of thing, analyzing all your journey, all the interaction they have with you. So basically, right now, a good trend, the best trend in retail is about tracking the customer, both on internet or even in store. Like you can see with Amazon Go, for example. Now with Amazon Go, even when you enter the shop, you will be tracked everywhere, so they know which product you look at, if you took it or not. So you are tracked. So they know with all those data now, what can we do with all those data? And with Advocate, that's what we want to do, by modelizing all this journey and be able to identify, to predict different things. For the moment, we are just going to predict if you are going to become an advocate. But later, we can predict.
But okay, so I think this is one of those things where just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it. Like, I get that Amazon is doing this and there's a lot of money to be made, but this is sort of like a dystopian future that we're building where everyone is being tracked and everything that we're doing, everything you look at is being stored in a database. And like, where is the line that you draw in terms of privacy?
For me, it's more about actually all the data that the company are using is just to have your product, to make the product more competitive. So it's more about giving the best service to the customer. So I don't. It's true that they can be stuff about privacy and all those things, but if you just track the interaction that the customer have with you, I think for me it's an information that the company has the right to use, because they want to make all those interactions better in the future. So the goal is to be able to track your interaction now and to make it better in the future. And for me, the company has the right to do it. But the limit will be to use other information about the customer. That's where privacy comes in. Mm-hmm. So if I only use the interaction one company has with the customer, it's fine. But if I start using what the customer is doing in his own life when he's not interacting with the company, that's for me the red line, because maybe the customer didn't give me the right to use that type of information, and even if that can help me to give him a better service, it's not a deal between the customer and the company, and I'm not using that type of information for my prediction.
But even now with Facebook and Google, when we open these apps, they ask you for permission, can we have your permission for your location, for your, for your likes and your shares and whatnot.
Yes.
But this kind of comes up as one huge block of text, and then you just end up saying, yeah, okay, whatever, I want to move on and use the app, use the service. But most people don't really pay attention to how much they're being watched.
That's true.
So how do we...
No, I think that's a big problem for our society right now. And I really think that everybody should think about it and really come to answers, or to put a red line for everybody right now, because right now everybody is trying to find an answer, but in its own environment, but you have to find a global answer for that, for the question of privacy right now. And it's true that a lot of apps, when you download, ask you for information that they don't even need. Some app that never use your localization ask you for your localization, and that's something that pisses me off. I didn't use that app to send you my localization, so I don't know why you want to use my localization. Even on Google, I went for, when you go on google.com and you are even on your desktop, sometimes you realize that Google needs your localization. I'm not looking for anything. I'm looking, tell me the book about, I'm looking for an information that is not related to my location. Why do you ask me for my location? That type of thing. It's true that now data is power and everybody want all the data they can have. But I mean, it's not. Every time I've been using data and every time I build a product about data, I always think about the deal between me and the customer and the customer who gave me the data, the person who gave me the data. It has to be a deal. If you download an app that you know is going to use your location, okay, it's fine if the app asks your location, but you don't have to, all the other apps that doesn't need your location shouldn't ask for your location. And I think that there should be, the government and the politics have to do some law for everybody, to stop people just getting all the data they want, but actually use data that they need to sort to get and what they need is the data they need to make the customer experience better, to make the life of the customer easier. That's all. Because all the data you have to get has to serve the purpose of making your product better, right. Getting your customer the life of your customer easier. That's all. If you don't do that, if you use data for another purpose, it's not a good thing for me.
Well, what about the way the government is using data? I mean, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but at this point, after all the Snowden documents have been released and the WikiLeaks documents,
I have a lot of experience there, so I don't know. Maybe the government is doing that. Is it legal or not? With all the Edward Snowden, we saw that the US government has been doing a lot of illegal things that are not very legal, and so they should be the first person to be punished, and they should strengthen the.
Who will punish them?
That's a politics thing. So I'm not very good in politics, but like even for the law that exists right now, they have done stuff that are illegal. So they should take action for that and make sure that they are not doing that. They are not letting people doing that type of thing in the future. But I mean, I know that right now we are in an era where data is power, and that's the reason why everybody wants to collect data. And you have to make sure that collecting data only is not going to give you the power, but it's all about how you use those data to make your product better. And yeah.
But I mean, I agree. But on top of that, the data that Google collects, the data that Facebook collects, or Palantir, or these companies are kind of keeping their data to themselves. This is proprietary and this is their competitive advantage.
Yeah, that's why,
in the end, that kind of leads to sort of a dangerous sort of future, don't you think? Where the data isn't sort of open and transparent to everyone, and they can just hold on to all this information for themselves, for their own competitive advantage. I guess it's one of the flaws of the capitalist environment that we're living in, but it has its advantages, but also disadvantages. I think it could be quite a scary. There could be some scary consequences if we don't at least consider the possibility that all these huge companies that seem altruistic, that maybe they're not as they don't have the mind of giving the best for the customers in their mind. Maybe money is really
that's true.
Driver.
That's true. Now data is money, so when you can collect data like Facebook or Google, you have a very big, like you said, competitive advantage. And I don't think it's going to change. It's going to change soon. But at least what we can do is to make sure that they don't use those data in a way that is going to be bad for the customer, for the person that who owns actually those data. Because even if Facebook owns those data, they use it, for me actually, from my point of view, they own the right to use those data, but the data is not owned by Facebook, but by the person who create those data. By you, you are still the owner of the data that you produce. So you just have to make sure to create laws to make sure that the data that Facebook has can never be used in a way that is going to put you in trouble, for example. So you have to make sure about all those things. But yeah, that's if we think about a happy use of the data. But actually, companies are not like that. They only want to make profit.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why there needs to be law, because if you only let people do what they want, they end up doing bad things.
But yeah, the whole point about collecting data is one is predicting behavior, one is predicting customer behavior, and the other, I think, is moving towards manipulating customer behavior. And if you have enough to be able to predict how someone will react to a certain stimulus based on the data that you've collected, then you can exploit that information to make your customers behave a certain way that's advantageous to the company, more profitable to the company. Then like that kind of undermines our free will in the end, doesn't it? Maybe like your lifestyle might change and you think that's because of yourself, but in reality it might just be these flashes of information that the companies just put in front of your face.
That's one type of... I had that type of discussion with a friend one day after the project of Amazon Prime to send you stuff at your house before you order it, just because they predict that you will like that, maybe that shirt, they predict that you will like it, so they send it to you before you even go to Amazon and buy it. And then if you don't like it, you can send it back. There's somebody who told me that, I really don't like it because, they are able to know the type of thing I like, and when I will see that, I have almost no choice than buying it because I love it and they were very good at sending me with no efforts. So in the psychological approach, they are like forcing me to pay that to do something I really didn't want to do. They push me to do something, and I don't know if it's something bad or good, because you can also think of it in the other way, because we have, as people right now, we have less and less time to do different stuff. Like for you are an entrepreneur, I want to be an entrepreneur too, but we have less time. I don't have a lot of time to go on Amazon and buy stuff. And would I be happy if Amazon is able to predict a shirt I like when I need it and send it to me at the right time? The answer is yes, and that's where it's a contradiction, because even if Amazon is pushing me to buy this product, I know that I kind of have the freedom to say, I don't like it, I don't want, it's not the right time for me to buy it. But it's also true that they give me the incentive for me to say yes. So I don't know if I have that answer, because there's a good and a danger inside that. But I see the really good things for me as a consumer, because it saves me time, and time is what is very important right now. And if somebody can save me time, I will just be thankful for that person, and even if it's to serve his purpose. Alright, so I don't know if I answered the question, but right now it's kind of difficult for me to find an answer, a good answer to that. But
we could discuss this for days.
For days, yeah, because every time you are able to predict the behavior of somebody, it's true that you can always use it to manipulate that person. That's true, actually, for the danger of prediction. And so for me, it's more about the customer. The customer just has to be more aware of the fact that he can still say no. He has his own free will, and everything the machine learner will tell you is, okay, you will give prediction depending on past behavior, but in a certain way the customer behavior is not predictable because we are all human beings and our behavior is never going to be 100% predictable.
You don't think so?
No. We can find patterns in our behavior, and that's what as data scientists we are looking. We are looking for patterns in the behavior of a group of people or in the behavior of only one person. But we will not be able to predict in 100% the behavior of somebody. It's not possible because the human being is like that. One day you will wake up in the morning and be okay, just because it's raining, I'm in a bad mood. Yeah, that's how we are. In French we say lunatic. I don't know how we say that in English.
Like lunatic?
Yeah, it means like okay, our feeling changes constantly. We are never going to predict our own. Even me, I can't predict my own behavior.
Right.
So it's hard for somebody to predict. We can only find patterns that give you the likelihood of somebody to do another thing based on what he has done before, or based on what other people, a group of other people have done before. But this is never going to be 100% sure. And and the customer has to be aware of that even they have the right to say no, or to say to say no to what people have want to give, to sell them or want to make them do.
Do you think maybe there is a future, though? I don't know how long it will be, but if we as a civilization, we keep advancing technology, and that advancement like continues and continues, at some point, don't you think we'll reach a point where we're able to analyze every single aspect about our biology, about our psychology, and if we're able to do that, then we're pretty much able to not only predict what we're gonna do. Like let's take for example, if we have a way to collect the data on the hormones that your body releases. Let's say we embed a chip in your hippocampus, and we try to collect the data on what hormones are released based on what actions that you take, and then how those hormones affect the way that you act. And then even when you're lunatic, like you said, then you're unpredictable in a predictable way.
But actually, like, you mean we already have consequences. Like, even if I'm able to measure all the hormones that you have right now, I'm just able to tell you, okay, now you are not happy. But
right.
How will I be able to know that, okay, tomorrow you will wake up unhappy? I don't know why, because you had a bad dreams. I don't know what, but there are a lot of things that we will never be able to predict. That it's just not predictable about the customer behavior. And even somebody will not like the iPhone 7 for the first time he sees it. Maybe 1 week later he will love it. And sometimes you just don't understand why it happened in the mind of the person. And the answer is that you just can't predict it.
You think it's never predictable, maybe not in our lifetimes, even in...
Yeah, with customer behavior, actually there are stuff that are never going to be predictable. And also that depends on people. It's also true that some people are more predictable than others. Mm-hmm. But in general, you'll never be able to predict in 100% probability the behavior of somebody. That's what I believe, and I don't see how any data scientist will be able. Even if you have sensor everywhere on your body, you are able to measure all your hormones, everything. But we are just able to measure how you feel right now, and how can we predict what you will feel maybe in 1 hour. Don't know. And there is also a lot of different parameters that even if you are in the big data area, we can't measure everything.
There's just too much.
It's way too much. It's not possible to measure anything. That's nature. The human being is never going to be as good as the nature. And yeah, and after that we can have a philosophy debate, but we are just going to be as good as human being, but we can never beat the nature.
I mean, there's some people who talk about like us being in a simulation, and the purpose of us being in the simulation is exactly this, is to be able to collect the data on human behavior. Because within like our reality, let's pretend that this is, or let's assume that this is the only reality that exists. In order to collect all the data, we can't run the experiment of Fabrice Zafak's life more than once. Unfortunately, we can't run the experiment of YJ's life more than once. So if we can create a simulation that has all the sort of features of Fabrice, all the features of YJ, and collect the data on how they reacted to certain stimuli within that simulation, and then apply it within the universe in which we created that simulation, then would we not have enough data to predict everything? But then again, I guess.
But you mean you collect what? You want to collect everything? You cannot collect everything. You cannot.
Like Minecraft.
That's too much. Like, you want to know what you collect. Even if you put a camera here that is taking a video of us, just realize that how much data is it? It's too much, and even if you are in the big data era, you can't collect everything. And what you don't collect also influence your behavior and also influence other things. You cannot just measure everything.
Yeah,
Nature is too big for us, so you're never gonna win. And I don't know about us being in a simulation.
It's possible. I'm not saying anything.
I'm not saying anything too. I don't like, just crazy. It's too crazy. It's just too big for me. I don't know.
You think it's not possible that we could be in a simulation?
But who is simulating us then?
Maybe, I mean, from what I've read, the idea is that post-human civilization, something maybe that we're about to evolve into, create the simulation to study ourselves or the universe that they're living in. Because again, you can't run the experiment of a universe more than once.
So then there's a big problem with the notion of time, right? Space, and I don't know. With physics, I don't think it's possible. Because it means all the data we collect about our past. So the Big Bang, for example, it means that all those people have been watching us since the Big Bang, since before that, since the creation of the universe. So now it means that, and that's a way if you think about time as we are thinking right now, as the normal time. But it's just too long. In that way of thinking about time, it will take too long for them to analyze us. So if I have to pretend that we are being watched by people, if we are just in a simulation, it means that they don't have the same aspect of time than us. Because I won't be able to look at the life of somebody for a year. I won't be able to do that type of analysis.
Right.
I'm not that. Maybe I'm not patient, but I can't imagine somebody doing that type of experience for
Right. I mean, 1 second for them, 1 second for them will be the same as 1 second for us.
It means that they don't have the same aspect of time than us.
It might be similar to when we play FIFA. For example, the 90 minutes in FIFA is not 90 minutes for us, right? But if we get to a point where the players within the game are experiencing time in that way, then we're essentially observing.
So maybe, and if you think about the research in I don't know how you space-time, or how do you say that in English? But
that's right.
That type of research, it's possible that in some point in the universe, the aspect of time is different than what we are. The experience of time is different than the experience experience we have here. So I'm not saying it's false, but it's too complicated for me to understand that type of thing.
It's hard to prove either way, like that it's true or false.
Or false, yeah. And for me, I just believe in things that make sense for me, and this is too complicated for me. So
I take it you're not a religious person.
I'm a religious person. Actually, for me, it's the simplest answer. The simplest answer for the creation of the world is like a superpower or a super creation for us that is able to give us answer to the question that we will never be able to answer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
maybe a software
that's the easiest. Yeah, a big software engineer, the best data scientist in the world.
That is our God.
That's God for me. A superpower or something that we just can't. We just don't have the possibility to understand what it is, what type of power it is. Then I think people just call it God. And like what I told you, nature is totally impossible to understand. That you just have to give a name to that. And I think the humankind have given the name of God. I have to stop by it.
Alright, well, thanks for that. On that note, I think that's a good place to end.
Okay.
Fabrice Advocate. Thanks for coming. Hopefully we can see you.